Welcome to another round of skills with Sydney and Sam. Today we're going to be covering the distract skill, which is another of the distress tolerance skills, and this is going to be handout 7. So for starters, what I need you to do is grab a pen and paper, and as we go through distract today, I want for you to jot down a few activities that you feel particularly drawn to and think you'd be willing to try out over the next week. So what distract is throwing your attention 100% into an activity that is not the thing that is stressing you out, right? So if you are stuck in anxious rumination, right? Say, I don't know, you've got a big test coming up and all you can think about is this test and it's driving your anxiety through the roof. We need you to distract away from that and do anything but think about that test. Okay, same thing. Maybe you're in conflict with someone else and you guys are arguing back and forth and you're just not getting anywhere and you decide you need to press pause because you're not getting anywhere. And in this moment, instead of, stewing in anger or whatever is coming up for you, you need to throw yourself into a different activity. So with distract, we use the acronym accepts. And what accepts stands for, this is just to help you remember the different things you can distract away with, is activities, contributing, comparison, emotions, pushing away, thoughts, and sensations. Sam, if you don't mind sharing your screen right here, I just want to show you all the list of things, and then we're going to walk through specifically and pick out a couple that might work for you and just a couple that we really prefer. So you'll notice here, it's a really big list. There's a lot going on here. So again, your goal with your pen and paper today is just to pick out a couple things, maybe 3, that you can try over the next week. So Sam, you're welcome to close this. If you want to reference this handout again, you have it in the link below, or you can go to your skills manual and grab it there, handout 7. So let's talk about these different activities and talk about which are our favorites. So I said activities, and that's the first part of accepts, right? Is the activities portion. And this is doing something that will totally engage your attention. Sam, what sort of activities do you like to go to when you're feeling really, really distressed?
I really like adult coloring worksheets.
Love it.
And I also really like drawing. And for me, anything that gets my hands engaged is really helpful. So knitting is another one that I do.
Love it. I just bought a paint by numbers adult style. Oh my gosh, they are so complex. You can't help but to put all of your attention there. Because if you don't pay attention, it's not going to work. Perfect.
Exactly.
Good. So with contributing, which is our next one here, this is doing things for others in the spirit of helping us, again, distract away from whatever is bugging us. And also, most of us feel better when we're supporting someone else in some way. And so, for example, for this, let's say there's a couple dishes in the sink and maybe they're not mine. And normally I wouldn't do the dishes for my roommates. But say, I'm really upset about something and I'm like, oof, maybe I'll just go do the dishes for them. And again, it's not an activity that necessarily makes me happy, but doing something for others does make me happy. Sam, any examples here?
Doing something for others. First of all, I feel like as therapists, we just get a lot of this in our day-to-day, which can be really fulfilling. And I love that. And one of my kind of non-therapy related go-to things for this is writing letters and cards to my great aunt who lives on the other coast. And she always expresses how much it means to her that I keep in touch. And so I know that I am improving her day, and it certainly improves my day when I get a response from her.
I love that example. Way more fun than doing the dishes too. Good. All right, the next C in our acronym of accepts here is going to be comparison. And this one's a little tricky. I'm often a little hesitant with this one, right? Because sometimes we find ourselves comparing us to other people in ways that aren't helpful. I'm sure we've all done this. And so the way I like to use comparisons is I like to compare myself in the here and now to myself in the past and notice the little areas of growth. Sam, any ways in which you use comparison?
I was actually going to say the same thing, that I like to compare where I am now to where I've been in the past. And one of the things that I tell myself is that I have survived all of my worst days so far. And so being able to look back and compare the ways that I cope healthier and feel more fulfilled and connected in my life now is my favorite comparison to make.
I love it. Good. All right, the next one is going to be with emotions. And my favorite example here is watching a really, really scary movie, because whether I'm sad or frustrated or feeling shame, if I watch a movie that induces a lot of fear, it sucks me in and I can no longer attend to those other emotions. I get a little break from those things and I get to instead just bask in the fear coming from this movie. Sam, any examples do you have here?
I guess this kind of I blend this with comparison, and I like to watch a lot of true crime.
Yes.
And sometimes that's a helpful comparison, that no matter what's going on in my life right now, like it could be worse.
Mhm.
There could be murder involved.
Exactly. I love it. Good example. The next part of distract and accepts is pushing away. Okay. And this again can look a couple different ways. Figure out a way that works for you. But the truth is, in the short term, pushing our emotions or pushing a situation away can be effective, especially if we're so distressed. We're likely to make something worse. So for push away, sometimes it's gently kind of noticing thoughts and being like, nope, not right now. And other times, if I'm having, thoughts that really stick in mind, or I'm really struggling with a specific emotion, or my brain is just terrorizing me that day, I'll just be like, fuck off, right? Over it, not today. And I will literally say that out loud as a way to get some distance. Sam, how do you use this?
I think this is especially helpful with anxiety and future-oriented worry and rumination. And so the for me, the types of thoughts that I find most effective to push away are the ones that are, like I said, worrying about the future and things that I realistically can't control.
Yep. I like that. That's a really nice clarification point, right? Sometimes there are things that are worth thinking about, or maybe there's problem solving that has to be done. But especially with things where thinking about it, ruminating on it isn't going to get you anywhere, that's a good time to be like, nope, not today. Good. All right. This next one is called thoughts. And we are going to use thoughts to either replace or, again, kind of push away other thoughts or other emotions we might be attending to. Okay, so for example, I gave you the example where a place I'll go in my mind for an imagery practice is I'll put myself on a soccer field and I'll just imagine myself playing soccer. And sometimes doing that, taking a step back and just thinking about soccer or thinking about something else I really, really love. Or, for example, I'm moving in a week And thinking about how I'm going to decorate my new place and what things I might need to get helps me move away from thoughts that might be less helpful or less comfortable. Sam, any examples?
The big one that I use is whenever I have a tough thought or a tough feeling, I will follow it up with the thought of thank you, brain. And the reason that I do that is to pull out the little kernel of truth that my brain is trying to tell me. That if there's something in the future that I'm worried and ruminating about, thank you, brain, for letting me know that that's coming up, and then redirecting.
I love it. I love it. Great example. Our last one here is going to be sensation. So we can throw ourselves into noticing other sensations. This one I think is really important because all of our emotions are really physiological. So a lot of times when we are feeling anything, we are feeling certain sensations. I do this because I feel all of my emotions right here in my upper chest. So I might distract with a different sensation so that I'm not just hanging here and sitting here in this pain if it's not going to be effective for me in that moment. Sam, any examples or way in which you use sensations to distract yourself?
There is one particular yoga practice that I've done that comes to mind. And like we've established in other videos, I carry a lot of my tension in my neck and shoulders.
Yep.
And this yoga practice incorporates some self-massage and stretching into that area. And focusing all my attention on the sensations of untwisting my knotted muscles is a lovely distraction.
I love that. Right. And notice how like the sensation of giving yourself a massage is a whole lot more comfortable than just sitting like this for the rest of the day or rest of the week. Another one you can use here too for sensations is really hot or really cold water. This fits in well with our tip skills, but that's just a particular sensation that can be helpful for people. Okay, so that is accepts or distracting through the use of accepts because we love our acronyms. And so again, your goal here is to come up with 3 activities that you are willing to try on over the next week. Try to incorporate them into your day, schedule them into your calendar. And even if your distress, like even as you're moving through your week and your distress isn't that high, in order to get these skills down and be able to use them when we are upset, we need to be practicing them when you're a little bit less distressed, okay? So even if nothing big comes up for you this week, try a couple of these things on, make them more accessible, so then when you are distressed, you'll be able to go there. You'll be able to remember, oh yeah, I need to do that thing, okay? All right, thank you very much for joining us, and we will see you next time.